It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Columbia, this is Houston, AOS, over. Setting up the flag now. Now, you can see the stars and stripes.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Knicks Wall podcast. First of 2020. We're in our second decade now. It's feeling really good. I'm Anthony Corbo. You can follow me on Twitter at Corbo Anthony. Joining me, I've got here some good friends of mine. One, Mike Cortez.
What is up?
You can follow him over at Cortez Era on Twitter. And of course, it wouldn't be the Knicks Wall podcast without Kyle Maggio being here as well. What's up, my man?
What's going on, everyone?
And you can follow him at Kyle Maggio. While you're at it, why don't you go follow at the Knicks Wall at TKW Podcast on Twitter. Check out Blue Wire. We're part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network. Thanks to them for supporting us and gathering up a good group of podcasts to kind of surround ourselves with. So go check out all those other shows. Head to the knickswall.com, where we've got no shortage of pieces going up as we get closer to the trade deadline and as the Knicks continue to lose games and the shine of the Mike Miller era starts to wear off a little bit. But we're going to touch more tonight on the first part that we're talking about, the trade deadline. Though we're still over a month away from it now, but since we last spoke, it's been 2 weeks. We had all the holidays and everything like that. Since we last spoke, all these players have become eligible to be traded, and the Knicks have certain players that they're valuing above others. We're going to talk about whether they're going to make smart decisions or they're going to go with their gut in this situation. Yeah, I guess overall, why don't we start with, let's go to Mike first here. What do you think the Knicks need to be doing between now and the trade deadline? What is it they should be looking for in players? What are they trying to do with this roster? Just from your expert opinion, what's the move here?
We should definitely sell the veterans. Any veteran should go, especially Marcus Morris. I know we'll probably get into a little deeper in a second, but he's the only one on the 1-year deal. And if he does want to come back in the summer, that's fantastic. Sign back in the summer then. Do what the Yankees did with Aroldis Chapman, where they kind of traded him and signed him back that same summer or offseason. And just do that. And in terms of players to target, I mean, I would go for draft picks above all. And I would also go after guys like Bogdan Bogdanovic or just like young guys that the teams might not want to pay. Like, I don't think New Orleans is going to do it, but like Brandon Ingram, someone like that. But Bogdan Bogdanovic from the Kings is the most likely. So target guys like that and just develop the youth. I mean, we always talk about all these guys are 19 and 20. It's like, well, let's see what they're about. So trade all the vets, stop crowding them in the lineup, and see what we got.
And now, Kyle, all of that being said, what do you think that the Knicks will do at this trade deadline?
Not that. It just feels like every single year we record the same podcast around this time. Like, it feels like every single year we're discussing the Knicks looking for a late first, early second round pick for an expiring veteran. And then a couple teams emerge, a couple teams are interested, like the Sixers were for Marcus Morris. And then nothing happens. And then the Knicks stand pat and they go, oh, well, we couldn't find any good deals. And that's bogus. It always is. And so that's what I think happens. I mean, ideally it would go the way Mike said. These are a lot of either expiring or vets that could be expiring with the team options and very team-friendly deals, quite frankly. And a lot of them are inexpensive and they're veterans. A lot of them are shooters who are ill-fitting on this team, which is a stupid thing to say, but with the coaching issues that we've had, and it is what it is. Wayne Ellington, I think he has the record for all-time Heat threes, if I'm not mistaken, or he's damn close. He's up there. Came to New York, forgot how to shoot, but, it happens. You can try to trade him. I mean, you always need a shooter. Bobby Portis,
something in the wall.
As much as I didn't like the signing at first, I wouldn't say I talked myself into it. in theory, I understood it. He was supposed to be a big that stretched the floor. Never works that way. So forget that. But again, that's a guy who's capable of shooting threes. So in theory, you can get something for him. Marcus Morris, of course, is having by far his best year. He's shooting almost 50% from deep. Isn't it 47% or something stupid? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's at 46.
46%.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. He's averaging, 19 points? I mean, he's been fantastic. But
let's go into detail about some of these guys a little bit more. Let's go into them a little bit more one at a time. I kind of want to think of, before we touch on those individual players, is there anyone on the roster right now, or I guess there definitely are some players, who would you consider at this trade deadline? What assets, which players would you consider, considering the Knicks have 10 wins on the season, they, have 27 losses, there's no way they're 13th in the conference. Like, it's an abject failure of a season. So that being said, is there anybody who is untouchable on the Knicks, and who are they?
I mean, nobody should be untouchable. I feel like that's a hot take, but nobody should be untouchable. And if there are,
does that include RJ Barrett?
Maybe Mitch
and RJ would be the ones that I would keep. I would.
I think I would trade RJ in the right deal. I love RJ
I would trade
to death, but in the right
I would
deal,
trade anybody on the right deal, to be honest. But and again, like, I know it's gonna piss people off, but anybody should always be available for the right price. Like, that's just the nature of sports in general. But if I had to actually pick, it'd be RJ and Mitch. Oh, not Kevin Knox. I was assured by another certain Knicks personality that because I think Kevin Knox is bad, I actually do not watch the games.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So apparently thinking Kevin Knox is bad is objectively false, is what I learned last night. So I have to take back everything I said. Apparently Kevin Knox is actually good, and I didn't understand. So this was news to me. So
let's start with a different name that you mentioned, a name that's been in the news a little bit today, and the name that's kind of brought up a little bit of controversy is Marcus Morris. He's on a 1-year contract, $15 million. Famously, went back on an offer with the Spurs for 2 years, $10 million. 2 years, $20 million, and yeah, like you were saying before, he's shooting like 47% from three. He's shooting, he's averaging 19 points. Like, he has, and he's played in 33 games this season. That's a pretty good sample size at this point. Will he come back down to earth a little bit? I mean, obviously he's not going to keep shooting 47%, but it seems as good a time. This is the best basketball he's played his entire career. And so it seems like instead of trying to capitalize on the asset, the Knicks are reportedly not interested in moving on from Marcus Morris, and they want to try to retain him. Kyle Maggio, what is that? What do you think of that decision? Do you think they're bluffing here? Do you think that this is kind of something that they really are intent on trying to hold on to him?
So if it was any other team in the NBA, I'd say 100% they're bluffing. 100%. If Steve Mills runs your team in the NBA, the answer is he 100% means it. So I think for sure that they're just going to keep him after that report. I would love to be wrong. If they trade him for a first, I'd love to be wrong. That'd be a very welcome surprise. But we should know better, right? I mean, we thought Kyle O'Quinn maybe was going to go to the Warriors, right? Remember that? Didn't happen. We thought Courtney Lee was going to be able to get something, right? Didn't happen. Last year we thought Von Lay or somebody would be able to get something. Didn't happen. So again, I would expect them to be able to get very competitive offers. If they tell you they couldn't get a first for Marcus Morris, they are lying through their teeth. Jordan Clarkson, I know that was a bit of a salary dump, but I mean, he was able to get fetch 2 second rounders. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't difficult. Like, there's always a team willing to take on an asset that you have, and you have to find it. That's their job. But I don't trust this front office at all. I do not trust Scott Perry. I do not trust Steve Mills. I think Marcus Morris is going to end up finishing the year here, which it pisses me off, but also I really like Marcus Morris, so I'm conflicted. But I think he's just going to end up being here through the trade deadline. He's going to finish the year out, and we'll do the same rigmarole where, he loves New York, he wants to say, and then all of a sudden he's with the Spurs next season. And
can you imagine
we all complain. So,
can you imagine he's with the Spurs next season? Like, how that would go over, or like the storylines that would come out from there?
Hilarious. It would be hilarious.
So, like, Mike, is there a case for trying to hold on to Marcus Morris? Is there any reason why we think that, like, we might have a chance of re-signing him, or any reason why the team would even really be super interested in it? Like, do we think we're going to be that competitive next year that he's going to make that big of a difference, or he could even be like, a first option on a playoff team coming up in like a season or two?
If you're in the camp that thinks keeping Marcus Morris is smart, you're either just so defeated that you've talked yourself into anything, or you just don't understand business. Like I said, you could sign him back. If he really wants to come to New York, they could clear the cap space by getting rid of the rest of the veterans and give him the deal he wants. He reportedly wants a long-termish deal for a lot of money. They could still give him everything he wants while getting an asset. And I feel we had a similar situation, as Kyle said, with Vonleh, and they just didn't pull the trigger. I mean, what is not enough for Vonleh? You got him for cheap. Just trade him. So I just have a feeling they're just going to jerk around, not get their offer, quote unquote, and then go into the offseason saying, hey, we found Marcus Morris last year. He'll come back, and then he'll sign somewhere else. I don't know if it's going to be San Antonio, but guarantees playing for somebody else next year.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page as that. Like, I want to fall. I'm conflicted, like Kyle was saying, though. Like, I really enjoy watching Marcus Morris play. I mean, he's been awesome this season. Can you imagine how bad this team would be if we didn't have him around? Like, doing just like preposterous numbers for a player who's been in the league for this long. We'd be in total chaos, and it's even deeper than we are right now. But it's been really, really nice to have him around to kind of guide us through what's been a shit show at the beginning of the season, give us a little bit of light. But, once we're getting towards the end there, once we see, what's going to happen with some of these players and we get closer to the draft and everything like that, we're not going to need that kind of, like source of energy on the team as much. We're going to kind of probably want to be going a little bit more downhill. So, I'm kind of in the camp that you got to move him. Like, it doesn't make any sense to hold on to him. It's only pure sentimentality, and the Knicks clearly operate entirely on that emotion. Like, there's no real. I don't know. The decision making is just so questionable with this team, and I really have no idea what happens in what should be a no-brainer situation. But is there something else?
I mean, I was going to say, like, it would be cool, like, if they did. I'm going to just, not both sides it here, but I do want to say it actually would be cool if they didn't trade Marcus Morris. We all got annoyed, and then he actually genuinely was like, no, I do want to stay here and resign.
It would be cool. It's just we have fallen for
if
it.
If that happened, obviously we would all be open to it.
I would, yeah.
Not? I mean, we all like Marcus Morris. I think the fit is still questionable when you have Julius Randle on the team also, but they have found a way to make it work a little bit better under Mike Miller. But the point is, if he does want to be here and he's a quality player and he's a quality veteran, of course, like, it's refreshing, even though the team isn't good, to be able to watch a guy like Mook every night who's just competent on both ends of the floor. So, like, of course, if he actually wanted to resign here, actually does resign here, please make fun of me. Like, I would love that. I love Mook, but I just don't see that happening. I just can't see him going through a tough, bottom 5 season with the Knicks and just loving New York City so much. It just feels like every year we hear guys who are on 1 year, 2 year deals talk about, I love New York. I'm so glad I'm a Knick. I want to be here. I want to be here. And then what happens? And his Cantor, I know obviously is a try hard, but he was pushing that forever. Mario Hezonja wanted to be in New York, right? 1 year he's gone. It's just, it's not slandering these guys, but this is what happens. You come, you're excited to be in a spot. You see how the spot goes. And sometimes you don't want to be here long term. So it'd be nice if you wanted to be. I'd be open to it, but it's just never how that works here. And that's what we're trying to.
I 100% agree. Like, honest to God, it's just one of those things where I can't fall for it again. Like, we've tried to do that so many times only to get, like, scorned by it in the end. It's just, and it would be really cool, but then there's also the option, like, if he is serious about wanting to do something like that, there is the option that Mike proposed that we could use him to get an asset. We can clear out a lot of these veterans, and then we can still sign him back on a fairly sizable longer term contract, but he's got like, if he really wants to do that, he's got to kind of play ball with us a little bit there, or I don't know, whatever they decide to do, but I would like him to play ball with us a little there.
Yeah, it would just further hammer home the point that Perry and Mills have no idea how to run a front office. Every other team's flipping Morris 100%,
Right.
Especially every 10 and 27 team with that player like that is flipping him for something.
So not a free agent, but someone that we actually did sign this past offseason is going to be under contract for next season. And potentially the one beyond that is Julius Randle, who has had one of the strangest beginnings to a Knicks career that I can remember from any player, where he was just piss poor to begin the year, had a small stretch where he started coming back on, and he's kind of cascading back down to earth right now. He's a guy that the Knicks invested a good amount of money into. He's making over $20 million a year, right? We're close to that, about 19 or so. But the performance is not there, and he's just hasn't executed the way we needed to. He hasn't had anybody to help him out in that situation. Obviously, the point guard rotation has been just a complete mess, and that can affect a player like him. But at this point, what offers you that the Knicks might be able to receive for Julius Randle, and do you think that it's wise of them to try to move him, or is this a fluke and he's going to come back on?
I have no idea what you could go, Kyle. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't think they're gonna move him. I know everybody likes to think that he's like the big easy one to move, but I just think with how we've seen, he can just be effective by simplifying the lineup and actually giving him a lineup that makes sense. I don't think that they're going to consider moving him until at least next year. I mean, he's got a 3-year deal, right? I mean, 2 of the years are guaranteed. The third one's a team option, if I'm not mistaken. Selling on him now seems very hasty and silly, and not for nothing, but he had a terrible start to the season with David Fizdale, and he hasn't looked. I mean, he's looked better with Mike Miller. Obviously, the first, I think, 12 games, he looked fantastic, like a changed man. I see people kind of going back harder on him now after the West Coast trip here, but this was always going to be a difficult trip, especially for an already bad team, so I'm not really holding that against him. But I can't see, you don't make that signing to trade him this year unless you were going to get a star and you're using him as like the young asset / salary filler to try to facilitate the move. But as we know, the Knicks are not doing that either. So I like to think they're just trying to bide their time with the young asset that can actually produce a little bit. And that's why it's like a team-friendly 3-year deal. They're trying to give themselves a little bit of time to see what they could do with him, but not this year. Absolutely not.
I was in the same camp, and then this whole personal reasons thing that he's missing the Utah game, I want to know what happened in the locker room. Is he on the trade block or is he not? In terms of deal wise, maybe if they were going to do like a D'Angelo Russell type deal, which I don't think's happening, that's probably the only scenario I could see him getting dealt. I wrote about Randall's under Mike Miller on Monday, and Miller's used them better. Like, he spaced them out. He's having him shoot more threes. Fizdale was basically just throwing him the ball in the paint and saying, do something, which is probably the least effective way to use a rim runner. So I do want to see a full year of him being used properly. I still think he's a good player. And yeah, I would hold on to him to at least next year. He's expiring. You're going to get more just off that alone. And he's still 25. He could still fit if used properly, I think. And maybe it could be as a 6-man. We have to see what happens in the draft. But yeah, I would hold on to him at this point, unless someone comes over the top rope, which, I mean, if you show me the team, they could take him.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page. Like, I don't really see a realistic destination for him. And like his contract, and he's just, I don't see a place that would necessarily want to, that he can be dumped to either, who might want to take a chance on him. So, I definitely don't think this year. I think potentially next season if he doesn't improve, there's definitely an avenue to that, especially because he only has a partially guaranteed deal for the next year. But Yeah, I expect this to turn around. I mean, like, we're going to talk about Dennis Smith a little bit later on too, but like, you know, both of these guys are going through like pretty horrific slumps compared to what their career has been and what their career trajectory has been like. I mean, Randall's not an old player who should be on the decline at all. He's 25 years old. So, and then, you know, the same thing about Smith, and, you know, we'll talk about him a little bit more, but why don't we turn our attention right before we get to Dennis Smith over to the other the other forward who should be on the block. It's Bobby Portis. So Portis got that flagrant 2 that took him out of the last game. He's been super up and down all season. His averages aren't really very far off where his career is, but he's just proved to be a really awkward fit. He's just, you know, he's really stopping guys like Kevin Knox from being able to play the minutes that he needs to be able to develop, and that's really had an impact on him. You know, we're not able to play Mitchell Robinson the correct way, and he's taken up space from him. It's just kind of, it's a very strange fit. It hasn't looked very good, and, you know, despite him hitting his career averages, you know, he's only partially guaranteed as well for next year, but I'm ready to move off of him, you know, just to jump on the whatever you can get. But he's got $15 million for this year. His partially guaranteed, I think, is only $1 million next year. But on that note with him, is there any destination that you guys can see for Bobby Portis, or are you guys, Kyle, would you advocate for keeping him by chance?
Listen, I said it before. I liked it in theory. Eventually, I talked myself into why they would have signed him, why it could possibly make sense. It just has not. So if anybody wants to take a flyer on a big who can sometimes shoot threes, but mostly just wants to post up, let me know. We can talk. That's all I got.
Yeah, I was going to say playoff team maybe. I was going to say Portland, but they don't deserve, like, I like them too much to just give them to that, because he's really just a chuck at this point. He hard fouls occasionally, but what's he really doing if he's not hitting threes? Not much. So
Not much.
I would literally trade him at the first, like, anybody that calls, I'd be like, yep, you got him.
I'm looking right now. I'm trying to find the teams. I'm trying to find who's going to have cap space for this coming year. That's the thing. Like,
It's not a lot. A lot of people are capped out.
It's tough for me to think about, like, any team that might even, like, potentially want to re-sign some of these guys or anything like that. It's, you know, even the teams like with any available space for this season, the team with the most space right now is Atlanta, who has like $4 million, and everybody else is over the cap. Like, you know, you have to make some room and stuff like that. Like, it's not going to be easy to move these guys and make all the salaries work. Like, it's just they're just kind of signed to awkward contracts. Like, I feel like it's easier to move like $7 million or $20 million than it is to move like 15. It's just getting those guys to add up, and that's where the Knicks are really kind of running into some issues here.
Well, Portis could be used. I mean, not to cut you off, Portis, the best use for him would probably be like if you're taking back salary, or if you're just trying to match, like you said, like Bogdan, like that's ideal. Like you take on Dedmon's deal, throw Portis in there, and then give them somebody decent.
Yeah, but I mean, so now that we get through, like, Marcus Morris, they definitely should move for a pick. Like, Randle is probably going to be here through the trade deadline. When you get to Bobby Portis, if he's still here after the deadline, is he a guy who's a potential buyout candidate?
I hope so. I just can't. I want to see Kenny Wooten up here already. He's been killing. He's a human highlight reel at this point. And Portis' presence is just blocking that from happening.
That SportsCenter highlight was
10 times
crazy.
More. Yeah, that was literally an NBA.
Oh my god!
block.
Yeah, he blocked it and pulled it down.
Just imagine him and Mitch together, and then look at Portis, and then think of Portis launching a 40-footer with 15 seconds left on the shot clock.
Wooden's averaging like 3.5 blocks in the G League right now. Yeah,
he's a monster.
Yeah, and he's not like center height, right? He's like just a little bit undersized.
I could be wrong. I think he's like 6'9".
Yeah, 6'9". Yeah, I mean, it would just be, I'd be very interested to see how those two would play next to each other. But even if that doesn't work, which I'm not super optimistic about that, but at the very least, I mean, like having one of those two guys out there at just about any time, like that's league best rim protection right there. So, I mean, yeah, getting a little ahead of myself, sure, here, but I'd like to at least see him have the opportunity to come up and play. And that's what the second half of the season really needs to be about. There's other guys throughout the G League, honestly, that should be taken a look at. I don't remember, like, I can't even recall a time when the Knicks have ever signed a G League player away from a team that's not the Westchester Knicks. Like that.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think they really dig that deep into there. Like there are other players who aren't signed to NBA contracts or just signed to G League contracts they can go after. And yeah, it's, I don't know, for a team that's had such a low winning percentage and has often brought players up from their G League affiliate, you would think that they'd be kind of searching elsewhere as well. But
well, these are the Knicks.
Speaking of, now we'll get into some of the young talent here. I brought him up before, but Dennis Smith Jr. Yeah. Oh man, I don't even know where to begin. He's only 22 years old, but he has just fallen off of a goddamn cliff this year, man. It's fascinating. I mean, I was taking a look at, I was ready to say, let's just dump Dennis Smith to the highest bidder, because I obviously he's shown nothing during his time with the Knicks, and then I went out to his basketball reference page and I'm looking at his averages. Like his rookie year, he was a 15-5 guy, 14-5 the next year. And it's on and on like that until you get to this year. And he's in this situation now where he's obviously had some tragic situations this year. And so like, I totally feel for that. And I get the, how that mental impact can affect everything else around you. Like, he's got reasons why his game would be affected right now, and plus the injuries and everything as well. I mean, he dropped from 14 last year. His averages were 14.7 points, 5.4 assists, 2.8 rebounds, 1.3 steals between Dallas, or that was his time with the Knicks. So that's 21 games. And then this year it's 5.2 points, 2.7 assists, like 2 rebounds. It's just everything is either cut into a third or halved. And part of me is, I should say, I would definitely be willing to give him up as part of a larger trade. But just those numbers look like such an anomaly to me. I feel like he's going to bounce back at a certain point. He's going to be able to, take control over at least some point guard minutes. The fact that he's not even in the rotation is insane. I think it's going to take some time. I don't really expect much from him the rest of the year, but while you still have him around and they have his option for next year, like you might as well hold on to him and just see when he comes out of this fluke. I mean, this is like Fultz level shit that's going on here.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
He just forgot how to play basketball. Like it is some Fultz level shit, because I've never seen anything like this. Like this guy just does not, like and I'm not even trying to make excuses. I genuinely wonder, like, if there's some other shit going on.
He had heavy family shit happen just a couple of months ago, but
I mean, right. But I mean, like, on top of that, like, is there more? Like, I've never seen somebody struggle in the way that he struggled. Like,
I mean, just to stay on the court too. I mean,
I think that first game screwed him. Remember when they were chanting for Frank? That's hard to come back from.
That is a tough thing to deal with. That's got to be insane.
And to think he's avoided we traded Porzingis for this guy thing so far. If he stays, my worry is that's going to get to that point. If Porzingis starts playing well again, they're going to start saying this was the centerpiece of the Porzingis trade. This guy sucks, even if he's playing all right. So I rather just, Minnesota wants him. I think he's still a good basketball player. Like, there's a reason all of us believe, or most of us believed, he could make a leap this year. I just think he needs to do what Fultz did. Just go to a smaller market and then go off, because I do think he's talented.
It's just weird because, and I'm obviously a very big fan of Dennis Smith Jr. think he has all the potential in the world. I thought last year he started putting it together a little bit and improving on the jump shot before he got hurt. And, the assists were a little bit better. His passing rate was up. His rebounds were up. I mean, he at least was playing the way he's always played, fast, aggressive. And then you started to see some of those little jumps. And of course, like I was probably more hopeful than anybody else, but if we're going to be truly objective, I can't say I projected a star, but maybe something like Bledsoe, a good 16, 17, 5-6 assists, couple rebounds, like
a starter.
Okay percentages. Just a good quality like guard starter. Like that's what I realistically saw for him. And I thought from his year 1 to year 2 jumps, I thought that was the progression he was on, to be like by year 4 or 5, he's going to be a really quality point guard starter, and in one year, not even like, I feel bad about it. Obviously there's nothing anybody could do. Like Mike said, it might be time to give him yet another fresh start. Yeah. I think it's going to sound like a hot take and everyone's going to yell at me, but I almost would rather just keep him too, because he's a young asset. We're going to be trying to find other young assets like that anyway to bring back in to try to play and take a flyer on. So why not just keep the one already here? Try to mend things for once, because I think something that we forget about too with this franchise is like, we're not good at mending shit. Like the shit with KP never mended, right? And then he wanted out, and then everybody blames KP for wanting out, right? But why was it not mended? Like shit was fractured back from Phil, and then we know that they have a history of like not being able to smooth things over, and guys just want to get out of town, or guys just want to get out. Like,
it's the same thing as the Oakley shit, man. It's just a pompous franchise.
Yeah, but it's like, just that's what I would do. I just, if we're really going to do this whole stand pat, we're not trading the kids, we're not trading the vets, then I mean, yeah, just keep him. But like, you gotta roll the ball. You gotta try him out there too.
If there was any other kind of like source of light in the organization, like really, really standing out, especially in the guard rotation, like Mitchell Robinson has obviously been, the most promising of these young assets that we have, of these young players that we have. But yeah, like you're saying, he is a young player with a good track record. He could be used in a different trade situation, so he at least retains his value as an asset in that sense. But God, I think about it too. Even think about the Luka shit. Like, you bring him in there, you put a lot of promise into him in his rookie year. Like, he's playing well. Like, you kind of have him penciled in for that starting point guard role in just a few years, and then you just bring this like force in here that just forces him out of the organization essentially, and he gets dumped off to New York, and since then he had so many injury problems, and then the Frank chance like you were talking about, like this dude, and then obviously everything in his personal life as well. Like, this guy has just been dealt a really, really tough hand over the last, I would say, 2 seasons. And
he was hurt in the preseason too. I don't know if he ever fully recovered. So that also could have been
totally be it.
He could have rushed back. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. He had a hurt back. So
if he's not, part of me, like if we don't deal him, part of me like would like to, like I would like to keep him around. I'd be fine with just shutting him down for the rest of the season and telling him to go wherever he wants to go to and work with whoever he's got to work with, and just kind of like come back and get a fresh start next year. When kind of some of that, the earlier season, like the heat from the season is off. Like he just seems like he really needs some time to recover. And I think that then, I think that there's nothing that the Knicks would have to lose by giving that to him.
And I think a trade for him will also be available draft night. Like if the Wolves, that's the only team that's been connected to him, you could always keep him until the draft. And then if maybe he has a good end of the season, because last season he had a good end to the season. We haven't seen that Smith since then. Like even the bounce isn't really there consistent.
That's what concerns me. It was like, why are you at least not playing fast and aggressive? Like why are you slowing down while also not shooting well, while also not passing like you were last year, while also not rebound? Like, that's what bothers me. It feels like an effort issue, and that's why I wonder, like, we didn't see that at all the first 2 years of his career. So what exactly happened here? It bothers me.
Ugh, I just watched Moutier put a bucket in on us.
Oh shit! Yeah, those jerseys are fire.
Oh god, they are great. It pains me to have to watch Emmanuel Mudiay in them and then ruin them with the white T-shirt underneath. Yeah. But anyway, we are recording this podcast during this game. It's just about the end of the first quarter, so if anything major happens, we'll pop back on a little bit later. But anyway, before we wrap up tonight, let's just talk about quickly in a group here. There are 3 young players whose names kind of get tossed around a little bit because their lack of playing time or they're showing some poor results on the court. I'm talking about Kevin Knox leads this group with Alonzo Trier and Damian Dotson in the equation as well. All of them, I would say, for different reasons, could see themselves being included in a trade or traded, on their own this coming, during the trade deadline. So I guess I'm just going to kind of throw it up here. Let's start with Kevin Knox, actually. Let's get into Knox a little bit.
Can we as a group, just real quick, just say he stinks. Just say it.
He does stink, man. He stinks.
Not permanently, but right now
he stinks. Yeah.
2020.
Guys, listen. I was told that if that's what you think, then you just are not watching the games. It's very simple. It's very simple. If that's what you believe, it is blatantly false. That's the best way that I can say it. But no, listen, he's been bad, man. I've said my piece with Frank like 1,000 times on Twitter, and everybody yells at me, and everyone's starting to come around. Like, he's not good. The one thing that he does is shoot wide open threes, and even those he's shooting what? Yeah, he shoots 34% of the year.
He stayed
league average this year is what, 36%?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's
around average.
I mean, when I said that for Dennis Smith Jr., everyone yelled at me, but whatever. So anyway, my point here is he's not good. He's not showing any meaningful leaps. And everyone likes to point to little stretches for Kevin Knox. I don't think you guys understand what improvements actually mean. Improvements mean you're doing it the entire season. He showed up. His jumper was better this season. That's how an improvement works. You can't call it an improvement if it showed up for the first 6-7 games of the season, and then since then, he's looked like the same guy. That's not how improvements work. He's playing significantly less minutes because he plays no defense. Yes, when Mike Miller took over, he looked competent, had a pulse for a couple of games. That does not mean that he has improved. That means that, one, we had a new coach, and there's always a new coach swoon. It just happens in every sport. You are lying if you don't know that this exists. And B, he's already kind of coming back down to earth. Like, I don't know what it is that as fans we feel the need to always say stuff like, well, he's just 20. Like, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. Well, no, you're 20 and you stink. I mean, Shai is 20 in OKC and he does not stink.
That's the worst part. Shai's good. The Bridges are good. Even fucking Michael Paper-Mache Porter is good. That's what's like making it worse.
But this is what gets me too. And everyone hates when I do like the on roster comparisons, but like RJ Barrett can't shoot worth a shit, but RJ Barrett is hitting the glass aggressively every game. He's engaged defensively. Like, his defense isn't good per se, but it's better than I think we all thought it was going to be coming into the year. He's still trying to pass and get involved that way. And even when he's not shooting, he's still trying to fit in with the game plan and stay aggressive for the most part, even when the shots aren't falling. Like, that's the difference between a good player who's young and currently not playing well and a player who is not good and just is young. That's the difference. And I think people forget that. Like, you actually have to show some kind of promise so that we believe in you moving forward. You can't just be 20 years old and breathe on a basketball court and then we think you're going to be good in 2 years. That's not how this works, guys. And and everybody listening, if you're going to disagree, you're smarter than this. Watch a basketball game, watch Kevin Knox, tell me all the positive things that he does consistently, and then get back to me. There's not many. And again, it doesn't mean like I'm out on him or I hate him or I want him off the roster, want him traded. I would prefer if our 9th overall pick just decided that he was going to be better at basketball and started making some shots, consistently rebounding with his 6'10" body that he never uses, learned to play some defense with that lengthy frame of his. 6'7" now because he shrunk with the new measurement. But, so I'm not rooting against him, but like, you guys have to look what's in front of you here. He's not good. Hopefully it turns around. Plenty of time, obviously, plenty of time. But there's a reason he doesn't get in games. It's because he's not
Kevin
good.
Knox has played.
Yeah, to not be able to play is ridiculous. Like
On this team, one of the worst teams in the league, you're a lottery pick and you can't get any run.
Kevin Knox has played in 111 games and 112 with the Utah game tonight. In that time, he has averaged 25.7 minutes. Now, he's only played in 36 games this season. But and obviously his minutes are only going down as the season goes on, as Miller's taken over. But we're not talking about a guy who's in his second month here, or even in his first season anymore. The guy's played over 100 games at this point. He's averaged 25 minutes during those games. The fact that he has shown, regression in some areas, slight improvements in others, but overall really just kind of stuck in the middle. I mean, it's not. It's again, like you're saying, it's not over. It's not like we're not writing him off because there are factors that work against him. A lot of people say because he got into basketball late, he'll bloom later. I don't know if I really put any stake into that, but I could. I could see him.
These people,
he might, but even if he does need more time to develop, he hasn't shown any of the flashes of what he could be developing in. So far, the only thing that's really promising about him is that shot, which is really shown to be
average.
Yeah, it's really just been average so far. If he can continue improving that, and there are other areas where he can get better in, he should be a better defensive player than he is. I get they want to watch. Yeah, I get they want to watch with rose-colored glasses, but you just got to call a spade sometimes, and that's the problem. I think he's the classic case of go to the G League, dominate, and maybe you come up with a post move or not. He hasn't had any G League time.
Why? It's perplex. I would love to know. Some of these guys just need to go down there. We said with Frank last year, I still think he should have.
Why is it such a demotion? Why is it such a punishment to send them to the G League where they can, put up big numbers again and, find a good stride against these lesser players?
I don't know if it was DeJounte Murray or Derek White for the Spurs that he didn't play at all his rookie year. He went down to the G League, figured out some stuff, and he came back ready to go.
That's what it's there for.
The Knicks have never done that.
It used to be the developmental league. It was meant to work on skills and get players to grow. That's the whole purpose of having it there. And instead, it's made out to be such a demotion because that's how it's always been in these other sports. It's a tool, and it's really I don't expect the Knicks to take advantage of it at this point, other than to call players up from there, but. It's just, if they knew how to use their G League, we would be so far ahead in this rebuild. It's
frustrating.
Couple of guards before we wrap up here: Alonzo Trier and Damian Dotson. Both of whom got some good minutes last year. Damian Dotson's in his third year in New York now too. Dotson's a former second round pick. Alonzo Trier was undrafted before the Knicks signed him. Neither of them able to play very much at all this season. Trier has only gotten into 17 games, and Dotson has played in 31 of them. It's neither one of them has really done enough, I think, to keep them on the floor for longer periods of time. Trier, I feel in his shorter minutes, he's only averaging 12 minutes a game during the season too, but I feel he's had stretches in his minutes where he's actually been able to kind of go off. He's averaging almost 7 points in what did I say, 13 minutes, 12 minutes. So, that's not bad. And I think he still has a lot to kind of show, but he's on that weird contract. He's going to be a free agent this season. I think that he might have some interest out there. But Mike, of Trier or Dotson, do you think either one of them get moved? Do you think both of them do? And how do you think it might happen? Would you think it'd be in a larger package, or is there interest for them out there?
I want to keep Dotson, so I'm kind of biased on that. I do think Trier is the closest to being moved. I won't go as far as definite because, like I said, Mills and Perry have been very gun shy with trades. But he, like you said, he hasn't played, and I feel like there is interest in a guy who can create his own offense. And I just don't understand why he hasn't played. Like, people say defense. I mean, obviously he hasn't played that much defense, but I didn't think he was unplayably bad, especially with some of the people we see out on the floor.
Strong agree. Strong. I made this point like last month. I was like, everyone's like, oh, but he doesn't play defense. I'm like, we're getting blown out by 30 every night. I mean, what defense is happening here? Yeah. Oh no, we're going to allow a 35-point loss today instead of a 30. Oh boy. Tragic. I mean, at least fight fire with fire. Try to get some points up, goddamn. Like, what are we doing out there?
And the thing that's frustrating even more is Trier's probably the easiest person to use. When they can't score, he's the perfect person to just say, go out and just score. Like,
yes.
I think it was the second game of the season against the Nets. He did that, and guess what? We should have won that game. He's just so easy to use. I think just piggybacking off that, a playoff team could use that. Like, the Lakers are one team that comes to mind. They have freaking Alex Caruso. Like, they're gassing him up. Alonzo Trier is actually a good guard that could score for them. And any other playoff team could use someone like that, because there will be a playoff game where everyone's ice cold and Trier could just come in and just go scorched earth on everybody.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be the best move for him too. He doesn't really make sense to this team anymore either. Like, keeping him is going to be, I feel like he's going to have some suitors in the off season. I don't think that keeping him, like, he really fits into this guard rotation, whatever it is, whoever ends up sticking around from it. He's just kind of a hard piece to have at this stage of a rebuild, I think. So, like you're saying, yeah, contender would be kind of ideal for him, and I think that there's definitely going to be some interest out there. So, hopefully he can get you, like 2 seconds, maybe a second.
Yeah, I don't think a first-round pick's even possible. Maybe,
I wouldn't,
maybe part of a bigger deal, he could get you like a player that could help you now in the future, whoever that is. But yeah, I would not expect a first-round pick.
Yeah. And what about if they were to? What kind of scenarios would you see for Dotson moving?
He's another one. I don't think demand is that high for Dotson. Yeah. So it would probably be for a second-round pick or part of a deal. And at that point, I like Dotson. I know he's a free agent, or I think he's a restricted free agent this summer. I would keep him. He has done nothing to say I'm out on him. Yeah. He plays defense. He could shoot. And
his value, he doesn't have a ton of demand. I don't think he's going to cost very much. So they might as well just try to keep him around and sign him with whatever rights they have on him.
Yeah, when's the last person they've re-signed? Even like everyone thinks it has to be like a big re-sign. No, why don't you just bring back a second-round pick that's proved to be useful? Yeah.
So, of the names that we haven't talked about being kind of on the trading block, on the potentially being moved, the names we've excluded from that list are Taj Gibson, Wayne Ellington, Elfrid Payton, R.J. Barrett, Frank Ntilikina, Reggie Bullock, Mitchell Robinson, and Iggy Brasdeikis. Do you guys have any quick notes on any of them you want to throw out there before we wrap this up? Is there? I think a couple of those names could potentially be in the move too, but the Knicks shouldn't be actively looking to move any of those players, correct?
If they trade Frank, I'll kill somebody.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I can't even believe that I've done a 180 on Frank like 4 times at this point. I feel like his career has been like 17 years with the way we've discussed him. I don't understand why you would trade him at this point. He seems to be a very competent backup point guard at the moment, which is not something we could say even a year ago. So, I mean, I would keep him, but.
Yeah, I'm on the same page. Like my expectations are so tempered on him, like just showing to be like a decent backup point guard at this point, where I'm just like, all right, that's perfectly fine. Just settle in there, and I'm all happy.
Yeah, he's just good on the floor, so I think that's invaluable, especially on a team like this, where you can toss him out there and say, all right, he'll do something, right? Yeah. The aggressiveness is still holding him back, I think.
He's a wild card.
The fact that you can throw out there. Right.
You don't really know what's going to happen.
But at least he can defend.
Yeah, but I guess that kind of wraps it up here for us tonight. That was kind of just to kind of prime everyone on the season that's coming up, to kind of address some of these lingering questions with some of these players. But overall, just kind of final thoughts on this. Do you guys think that this roster will look radically different after the trade deadline comes up?
Nah.
I don't think we're going to be very active. I do think someone's going to get moved off of the sheer ridiculousness of the fit of this roster. I think they have no choice but to try to get a couple of guys out. I just don't think it's going to be the guys that we would like to see.
Yeah.
You know, I think like Ellington's going to be gone for like some weird 48th pick or some weird shit like that, or like some young player that nobody gives a shit about, like a weird kind of lateral move, you know, like,
yep.
All right, cool. We're gonna pick up some kid from a small school that nobody cares about, and
I totally agree.
Kind of
It'll just be we're just gonna kind of pass the baton along on somebody, but I could potentially see some guys kind of wanting to get moved and not being able to, and there being some potential buyouts as well.
Yeah, like Alfred, I have no idea what's going. Like, I think he should be traded. I don't know what's going to happen because I don't see any teams that really need what he brings to the table. Which, I mean, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. I was wrong on him, but I just don't see a deal for him.
Yeah, like I could see like potentially an Ellington buyout if there was something that he wanted. Yeah, I mean that's probably about it. Maybe Gibson, but I don't really see any reason why he would want to. So yeah,
keep him. I feel like he's like the veteran you want to keep.
Having him around, but all right. But so I guess we're gonna wait and see what happens with this Utah game. But things are looking fairly pedestrian right now. That's Emmanuel Mudiay blocking Elfrid Payton right there. So I think that's about where we leave this one off. So everybody go head to the knickswall.com. Mike, have you written anything recently? Anything coming up in the future?
Yeah, of course, Randle made me look stupid with this West Coast trip, but under Mike Miller, he did look good, so I took a look at that. And it was encouraging until Phoenix, till the last two LA trips. But yeah, I wrote that. Dylan actually released a very topical piece on why Mitchell Robinson's to start. So check that out. And Sam also wrote something on Marcus Morris, which we kind of talked about on the pod.
Yep, so go check out all of those pieces. You can find them if you scroll through the timeline at the Knicks Wall as well. At TKW Podcast, give us a follow. We'll be dropping the episode there. Subscribe to us on YouTube, subscribe to us on iTunes, leave us a 5-star review, please, and we will talk to you all next week.
Oh, wait, and one more thing before we leave. If you can buy merch, please do.
We're
donating 100% of the profit to the Puerto Rico Earthquake Relief Fund. They're getting slammed right now. They're expecting another big earthquake, so anything helps. Just like, even if it's a small T-shirt or anything.
Yeah, get yourself something nice. Get yourself a couple of nice things. 100% is going to it, so let's spend some money here. I know there's stuff that you guys have been looking at. I know that everyone's got a little bit of extra Christmas cash floating around.
Listen,
this is a good way to use it.
We've been bringing the goddamn heat with merch this year.
Orlando is back.
We haven't been dropping as many, but when we drop them, they are quality. Good. We just dropped the FIBA Franks jersey. It's only available. It's fire. It's only available in the navy blue. It's the exact navy blue jersey he was wearing, except TKW. So it's good. I like it. I'm going to get it. But we brought the Portland Anthony back as well because, we initially wanted to try to donate to Carmelo Anthony's Puerto Rico Relief Fund. I've had some difficulties figuring out how to get the money there. So we're just going to donate to one of the larger foundations. But, that said, that's why we decided to bring back the Portland Anthony design. And we should have a special Melo Puerto Rico design coming. I'm just going to tease it there. When it drops, obviously you will see it. But as these other two gentlemen said, please just buy some stuff if you can. Please spread the word and feel free to donate, not just by buying stuff for us if you feel more comfortable doing it elsewhere.
Yeah.
The most important thing is that you're given something to try to help out. So don't feel like we're just screaming at you to buy shirts. But if you want to do it with us, that's awesome. If not, just please try to get involved.
The link for the merch store is designtree.com/the Knicks Wall. That's DSGNTREE.com/the Knicks Wall. I'm also going to drop that link in the episode. It'll be in the description. It'll be right up at the top there for everybody to see. This FIBA Frank shirt is dope. The we have like jerseys for like every player on there too. The Maple Mamba, I think, is going to finally be purchased by myself too, a kind of classic one.
Very good one. I have it.
Yeah, so it's sick shit, and what's going on out there is a whole nother kind of sick shit. So we need to make sure that that's taken care of, and get something nice for yourself along the way. So with all that being said, we will talk to you guys next week.